My regards. Can we watch a football match that ends in a goalless draw? We can watch a match without any serious chance. But it is very difficult to imagine a football match ending without one of the yellow or red cards. When you first see and learn football as a young child, you always ask, what is this yellow and what is this red? Why these colors specifically? In today's episode, we will try to present the story of the invention of cards. Because it is a story that must be remembered, even if some people know it. The story began because of a referee named Ken Aston, an Englishman, who served football for a lifetime. This Aston was one of the soldiers in World War II. He completed his military service in the year 46. Then he went to referee football. When he first started refereeing, the local federation noticed that he had amazing intelligence and management in matches. But at that time, when he started ruling, there were no cards, neither yellow nor red. The warning was verbal. The expulsion is also verbal. This Aston was known to have a strong personality. He knows how to absorb players' anger when he warns them verbally or tells them, you are expelled, and because of this, in the 62nd World Cup, FIFA decided to bet heavily on him. The first match of the host country, Chile, against Switzerland, which he will referee and manage with distinction. They also asked him to referee the Chilean home team's match against Italy. This match is called the Battle of Santiago in football because before it there was a lot of tension and during it witnessed controversial football events. The reason for this is that one of the reports was published in the Italian newspapers saying, Chile is a poor and bad country. It criticized the behavior of the people in the streets and their treatment of strangers, and the Chilean newspapers at the time responded angrily, saying, the fascists are teaching us. In that match, Chile won 1-0. 2 Italian players were sent off. After this match, Aston was placed on the sidelines in FIFA until the end of the tournament and did not referee any matches. Of course, after that he suffered an Achilles tendon injury and was transformed from a referee to a person on the FIFA referees committee. Aston was aware from the beginning of his refereeing. Verbal warnings and expulsions are not valid for football until the England-Argentina match, as you mentioned. In the semi-finals of the 1966 World Cup. The referee was German at the time and his name was Rodolphe Klein. The player, Jack Charlton from England, gave this player a warning after the match. He called FIFA and told them, I want to understand this German referee. When he said this to me, does this mean that I received a warning or does it mean something else? Then, when the Argentine player, Antonio Riden, was sent off, he refused to leave the field. Pitch. Fate convinced him to leave the field, as was Aston himself. But removing this player from the field was not Aston's problem. The question that came from Charlton was, did I get a warning or not? The fans were always wondering, is this a warning or expulsion? What happens between the referee and the players? At the same time, football was being broadcast more and more on television, and people did not understand what was happening between the referee and the players. Also, in many countries, football is played in different languages. Referees speak different languages and players speak different languages. How do we distinguish these languages with players? During Aston's return home from Wembley Stadium, he stopped at what is described as the most famous traffic light in football history. On a street in London was Sinton High Street. Aston was walking, the signal that was yellow turned red. So he stopped his car. Here he stopped and said, what if I used the same 2 colors to distinguish people, yellow is a warning and red is a stop and get out. He knew he had to use these colors, but he didn't know how. He went home. He explained the matter to his wife, whose name was Hilda, who entered one of the rooms in the house and brought back 2 cards for him. A yellow unit and a red unit, and not only that. Hilda was very clever. She gave him the right size of cards so that the referees could put them in their pockets. The idea was presented to FIFA and FIFA immediately agreed and the cards were approved for the first time in the 1970 World Cup. A man who believed in the necessity of finding a solution, the idea never left his mind. So his conscious and subconscious mind worked to tell him that the colors are your signal that you received, so work on it. He had a woman who believed in him, was interested in his work, and was distinguished by good management. She gave him cards of the correct size. The invention of yellow and red cards is not at all related to organizing football matches only. Rather, if you allow it to become global and spread more, people understand it from television and players understand each other on the field, without any of them knowing how to speak the other's language. For your information, this story often appears in human development books, business administration books, and I even decided to photograph them while I was reading one of the books when it was mentioned in front of me for the 6th time in books I have read throughout my life that have nothing to do with sports. They always use it based on the principle that people can solve their problems using simple methods, and that whoever complicates the issue will take a lot of time to reach the solution. The issue was very simple in 2 ways. It could have been started 60 years ago, not in the year 70. People are accustomed to the yellow color as a warning and the red color as a real danger. People understood yellow and red from traffic lights, and they understood them in their daily lives. The idea of using them was smart, easy, and straightforward.